Day 114 of 281. Hello, my name is Joey. I'm currently a senior in high school and I have 281 days before I graduate. I'll be posting every single day on all platforms to follow my dream of content creation, my love and drive for fitness, and most importantly, inspiring people and teaching others how to find their purpose and passion in this world. I just finished up a 6-hour shift. I am bundled up. I don't know if you could see the vapor coming out of my mouth right now. It is freezing cold out here, and I want to record this video right now. I do not want to waste any time. Today's topic is going to be based on God's love. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see others not know that there's someone out there who loves them. It breaks my heart to not know that there is peace in this life. You know, one thing that always runs in my mind is, Joey, how do I find peace? How do I find peace? How do I find peace? Because there's something that's always missing. It always feels like something's missing in this life. And at the end of the day, when you calm down and when you pray to God, you realize that He is peace, that He is love, that He is forgiveness, and that He is everything. You know, I am taking anatomy class right now, and I'm always on this debate, not to argue this point, but I'm going to say what I love because that's what I believe I'm here to do. And, you know, I've always wondered, well, how did all of us get created, this and that? And, you know, the Big Bang, God created us, all those shenanigans. And as I'm taking anatomy, it sort of secures the answer, guys, that God did create us human beings, man. The complexity of the human body is more than anything I've ever seen or heard of. I mean, the amount of detail, how a muscle contracts to how the body pumps blood to layers of the skin, and like, it's insanity. And it's just so overwhelming, but so at the same time peaceful to know that God did create us, man, and it's the most greatest thing ever. And I'm going to touch on my story one more time about how I found God and how God touched my life. And I really am saying this because I believe it sincerely, that the years I am in my life right now is God teaching me to become the man who I am going to be, right? I believe these are the years where I'm going to mess up, I'm going to fail, I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm doing all these things because God is teaching me, because through failure, you learn. And my story goes on, you know, just raised as every other religious family, going to church on Sundays, maybe reading the Bible every night, but never knowing God, never knowing who He is. And I struggled my whole life to understand who God was. I never knew that He was actually a relationship, and I never knew that He was a best friend. And I really just don't know how this all happened, to be honest, but it seems like 2 to 3 years ago, God just came into my life. And I don't know, you know, the exact reason or story, but I think I was just trying to find, you know, that confidence in my life. I wasn't always the kid that had that confidence. I got picked on. I got bullied growing up. And, you know, there was that side of me like, why can I not just do this shit? Why can I not stick up for myself? And then I started to realize that, you know, I don't always have to depend on myself. I can depend on God, because God can send an angel full of armies to defend me. God can conquer the whole world in one finger. Like, it's the crazy shit that God can do, man. It's insanity. And understanding all of that, and understanding that if God can protect His Son, then He can protect me. And how do I say this? It just hit me one day. It really did. I'm not saying this to sound prideful. I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm saying this sincerely. I believe that I am something special. I believe that God chose me for a reason, because I look around and I feel like no one has the voice, no one has the action, no one has the work ethic, and no one has the inspiration like me. And I'm saying that humbly. Do not take it like I'm saying that in a flexing, bragging way. I'm very humble. But I just feel that connection, and I feel with that in mind that God has a deeper connection and relationship with me. There's so many days and so many nights where I literally feel God's presence in me, and it's the greatest and coolest gift of all time. And I'm using His word, He's literally talking through me to get you guys to Him. And I think that's the coolest thing ever. And one thing I've learned about God, and here's one piece of advice that I can give to you, is that if you are struggling to find peace, if you're struggling to fill that inner gap, I highly recommend that you sit in your room after a long day, close the blinds, turn off all of the noise, and talk to God like a human being. Talk to God like a human being. Don't do all your prayers and this and that. Sure, you can do that, but talk to God. Talk to him. Tell him about your day. Tell him what's wrong. Tell him what you're grateful for. And then you're going to build that relationship. That's one of the best pieces of advice I could give to anyone. And the rest is history. When you talk to God and you understand him, then God will talk to you. That inner gap, that feeling of not feeling fulfilled was finally filled 2 to 3 years ago. And 2 to 3 years later, I am the most happiest person ever. I am so grateful, so loving, and so many things, and it all comes from the Lord. He is teaching me so much. He is teaching me how to become a man. He is teaching me confidence, generosity, love, and all of these great virtues. And I'm so grateful for it. And if I would have never discovered God, if I would have let my pride get to me and, all these crazy things, I'm saying this because I think it's very, very true, I would not be here right now. I would not have this job. I would not be recording these videos. I would probably be at my house, under my bed, scrolling on TikTok, being depressed and this and that. But with God's help and God's work, I'm becoming a man that I'm proud to be. I know that I can get my family out of the situations, and I know I can get my mom that condo in Hawaii, and I know I can be that bodybuilder, and I know I can be a strong man, because it all comes from the Lord. And there's so many weird things that God put in my mind, and one really weird thing that God put in my mind, and I honestly don't understand how this happened, but God put in my mind that in 2.5 years, I would be buying my mom a condo in Hawaii. No fucking clue how I came up with that number. No exact reason when that came up. It just happened. And I have no financial stability to even afford that right now. But by some miracle, I believe in faith that I will be able to do that in 2 to 5 years. God has given me the vision of preaching to thousands of people on a stage one day. And I am literally a kid working a retail job right now. How the fuck can that happen? I have no idea, but I have faith that it will. I have dreams of being a bodybuilder, but I was the most skinniest kid in high school, having the build of a twig, but then adding on all this muscle and all this crazy stuff. I have faith that will happen. It's all this crazy stuff, guys, that makes you believe more, that makes you have more faith, and that makes life more exciting. I know this video had many, many rants, but I'm hoping I was able to open up a little bit more and tell you a little bit more about my life and my connection and love with God. I want all of you guys to know that God does love you, and that whatever you're going in through your life right now, I don't know the answer to it, but I like to personally look at everything as a trial. God is going to put you in situations. If you want to be patient, he's going to give you a slow store clerk where they're going to be on a check lane for 20 minutes, doing that one customer, and you're waiting in line. But you wanted patience. God's making you that trial. You wanted strength. So now you're going to go into the gym and lift heavy weights. You wanted all of these crazy things. So don't be shocked if God gives you trials to endure them. And again, there's so many trials, so many things. And man, the amount of things that God has put me through, which I'll probably will talk about in a later video, is just ridiculous, man. Because it all worked out. It really, really did. Joey Inspires here, 8:30 p.m. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.